Okay, what is the silver tsunami? Let's do a full breakdown on how to steal businesses from baby boomers over the next 10 years. There is a wave of small businesses about to change hands that most buyers have not clocked yet, and the numbers behind it just got a lot bigger. Understanding this shift could be the most important financial move you make in the next decade. So let's get a fair up it and have a closer look. So here's the updated numbers. According to McKinsey's April 2026 estimate, the scale of this opportunity is staggering. And here's what is actually on the table. 6 million businesses will transition. Small and mid-sized business will transition on the table by 2035 over the next 9 years. 1 million plus viable right now. Businesses viable for sale at this very moment exceeds 1 million. Barely any of them will get sold. 5 trillion in enterprise value represented by those businesses, and 10 trillion in assets changing hands, in business assets shifting as baby boomers retire with no succession plan. So roughly 10,000 a day. According to Fox Business, roughly 10,000 baby boomers hit retirement age every single day. Nearly half of all small business owners in the US are 55 years or older right now, and the succession gap is wide open. According to industry succession research, 54% of those owners still have no succession plan in place, and that is not a footnote, that is the opportunity. So, over half have no plan, no one in their family that's going to be taking over this business, and most of them won't even go to sale. So you can imagine the opportunity and how cheap some of these acquisitions are going to get. And why that gap matters for a buyer. So no succession plan does not mean no interest in selling. It usually means the opposite. An owner who knows they need an exit but has not built one is a motivated seller. And motivated sellers are exactly where creative deal structures actually get offered instead of refused. So seller financing, motivated owners are far more open to carrying a note as part of the deal structure. Earnouts, performance-based payment structures become negotiable when an owner needs an exit, and flexible terms, so creative structures get offered, not refused, when the seller has no plan. Now, what a typical acquisition loan actually covers. Most of these deals get financed through the SBA 7A loan program, up to $5 million, covering the purchase price, real estate, equipment, and working capital in a single loan. The SBA guarantees up to 85% of it. So you got your purchase price and real estate, equipment and working capital moving forward. SBA will guarantee up to 85% of that. So the lender funds the remainder. But that remainder is exactly where most buyers get stuck. Understanding what falls outside the loan is key to structuring a deal that actually closes. So the equity injection reality, and this is the gap. Standard SBA equity injection on a change of ownership deal is 10% of total project costs or more. The math is straightforward, but the cash requirement catches most buyers off guard. The baseline example, on a business valued at $500K, that's $50K in cash required before the loan funds a single dollar of the purchase. When it gets higher, that number climbs on special purchase real estate or weaker borrower profile. That could be things like car washes, laundromats, that sort of thing, making pre-deal financial positioning critical. The core challenge, most buyers focus on qualifying for the loan. The equity injection is the wall they actually hit first. So let's have a look. The part nobody mentions, beyond the equity injection, most lenders also want to see 5 to 10% of total project costs sitting in the buyer's personal accounts after closing, separate from the down payment and separate from the working capital in the loan. This post-close liquidity requirement exists for one reason: to prove a buyer can survive the first rocky months of owning what they just bought. It's not a part of the loan, it's not the down payment, it's an additional cash buffer that lenders quietly screen for and that unprepared buyers quietly fail on. So here's where the 5-tool stack actually fits. Each tool in the funding stack has a specific job. Understanding which tool solves which problem is what separates a deal that closes from one that stalls. So debt consolidation, this is great for cleaning up utilization and DTI before applying, clearing the credit threshold most SBA lenders require. Now, credit card utilization and revolving debt utilization is accounting for 30% of your FICO score. So dropping that to well below 30% is the fastest level we can pull to actually qualify ourselves on the credit score. And HELOCs is the one tool SBA explicitly allows as a legitimate equity injection source for the down payment. So provided there is income outside the business to cover the new payment as well. Building the reserve, not the down payment. So what these tools are not for, term loan stacking and 0% credit card stacking, do not touch the equity injection itself. That is not their job. What they actually do, their job is building the post-close liquidity and the working capital reserve lenders want to see on top of the loan. The actual buffer that gets a buyer through in the first few months running an unfamiliar business, the distinction matters. Misapplying these tools to the wrong part of the capital stack is one of the most common reasons otherwise qualified buyers will get full-blown declined. Now, here's the thing. The seller financing angle. Because so many of these owners have no exit plans, seller notes are more available in this market than in a typical acquisition environment. A seller note on a full standby can count toward part of the required equity injection, and that changes the entire math of the deal. So, HELOC, legitimate SBA-approved equity injection source. Seller note counts towards part of the injection on full standby. Reserve stack, your term loan stack, credit card stack, double hit, builds post-close liquidity, and then the deal closes. No single source carries the full burden alone. This is how we're getting into deals with no money down. Let's have a look at it. The recap. The opportunity is real. The window is wide open, and the structure to execute it exists. So here is what the full picture looks like. 6 million transitions on the table by 2035. A 10 trillion wave of assets changing hands as baby boomers retire, and more than half the owners involved with no plan for what happens next. The SBA loan covers most of the purchase up to 5 million, guaranteeing up to 85%, but the equity injection and post-close reserve are where most buyers get stuck. A properly sequenced funding stack does the work. The equity injection, the reserve, and the reality of a motivated seller are where the actual deals get made. So let's map your deal. If you're looking at stepping into a business transition like this, the next step is mapping out your specific deal structure. Equity injections, reserve, seller financing, the full funding stack. Your deal's waiting. Head to gapfunded.com/apply. Let's map it out together. Worst case scenario, you walk away with a set of steps and a bit of a game plan. I'm Mick Wadley, founder of Gap Funded. Let's go close something. If you got any value whatsoever from this video, hit that subscribe button, smack the bell, and we'll see you on the next one.